You seeing what I'm seeing?
Bring it on.
Come to daddy. I wait all year for this. It almost looks like a wall cloud. That is blowing in so fast. It is time for me to go get some rubber boots on and get ready to get wet. Can't wait. That is dark and gray. I've lived in Texas my entire adult life, and that cloud is so weird looking, and we're not supposed to get tornadoes in this area of Texas. It doesn't look exactly like a wall cloud, but it looks circular and I can see it moving. I can't wait to see the time lapse to see if this is me psyching myself out or if that really is rotating. I thought I was just recording a thunderstorm. If I knew what I was recording, I would have set this camera up on the opposite ridgeline to get a better view of the tornadic rotation. It's at this part in the time lapse that you can clearly see rotation happening. What's scary is those clouds appearing out of nowhere. They look like little arms sticking out of the wall. Those are scud clouds. That cloud dropping below the full storm, that's the wall cloud that I mentioned earlier. Although I could see in real time that the storm was rotating, looking at the time lapse makes it clear that this was rotating aggressively and it was doing it over the Rio Grande. I had the chance this week to talk to 4 different meteorologists who are all subscribed to the email newsletter. And please click the link in the description to get those weekly updates and the bonus episodes. Each meteorologist confirmed that what I witnessed was a wall cloud and scud clouds. One of them said he may have seen a funnel in the footage, but it's too zoomed out to tell. Meteorologists are not video editors, but thankfully, I have Camilo on my team editing all of these episodes, and he can zoom in for us. For my weather nerd friends watching, is this an actual tornado funnel or just tornadic activity? The size of this storm is mind-boggling. I recorded the historical radar on AccuWeather, which lets me see the size of the storm and how far away it was. I got lucky in a sense because the storm hovered over this unusual bend in the river. I used Google Earth to measure the distance from where I was standing to the center of the storm that was hovering right over the Rio Grande, 7 or 7.1 miles away. I'm making an educated guess, comparing the size of that little peninsula on the river to the center of the storm. It's a very rough estimate, but the center of the storm is a mile across. I'm not a storm chaser. I'd also like to emphasize that I'm not a beaver. And because I'm not a storm chaser, getting within 7 miles of a tornado that could have been a mile wide is way more excitement than I need in my life. The only buildings that I have on the ranch are my drill rig dog houses, which are made out of fiberglass and 2x4s. A tornado would turn those things into very sharp matchsticks. That's kind of funny because just last week I was waxing poetic about how humbling and wonderful it is to feel like a speck on the landscape, which begs the question, I'm a speck on the landscape, and if there's a tornado flying around, I hate admitting this, but if a tornado hits me and I can't get in my truck and drive out of the way, I'm just dead. Maybe you can leave some advice for me in the comments, but I only have 2 ideas if I can't drive away from the storm. One is to go down into the wash below the terraces and hide behind one of the dams and get as close to the ground as possible. Maybe the dam and these hillsides could block enough of the wind to prevent a tornado from carrying me off like a rag doll. The other idea is to get on my bulldozer, which that feels really counterintuitive because it puts me 8 feet off the ground. That's the last thing I want. But my dozer has a forestry cage and that's designed to protect the operator from debris. Maybe the best plan is to get on the bulldozer. It weighs 16,500 pounds. And just drive it down behind one of the dams. That puts me in the forestry cage, and it helps isolate me from some of the wind. That's the best I can come up with. Maybe you've got a better idea. People give me grief claiming that I'm in the most isolated spot in Texas. I promise you that is not a marketing gimmick. I really do believe I am in the most isolated spot in Texas, and the lack of radar coverage of a tornado is a good example. Jason, who's a storm chaser, tried to pull radar coverage of the storm using KMAF and KEPZ radar sites. The best we have is composite images, which you just saw on the screen and in my clip from AccuWeather. And those composite images mean that we're not going to get the detail and resolution that would be required to have a radar confirmation of a tornado. I think Jason said it best. I forgot how far out there you are. That area is a radar hole, essentially. Tornadoes happen out there, and no one ever sees or knows because of the lack of roads and desolation, and lack of radar at low altitude elevation above the horizon. This area is so isolated that we don't even have a good look at the weather that's occurring. I'm just waiting for the rain to come, so I figure I may as well be as productive and bring you some sticks. You want these down here, I assume?
Just trying to level it out a bit.
Okay. Yeah, just more dirt.
Getting better in construction each one we do.
Yeah?
Just learning how to handle the materials and stuff.
Cool. Where do you want me to drag the rest of them?
I mean, that's good right there.
I felt a couple of drops just now, so. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, it's starting. Do you notice how the grass, the grandma grass just pops against the landscape now? Where all the soil's brown and the grandma stays...
because the soil is darkening as it gets wet.
Yeah, so you can actually see where the grass is growing, even though it's all really struggling.
Hello?
Wow.
That was the sound of that one we saw like a minute ago.
I wouldn't want to think about what happens if that lightning hits you, because you wouldn't be dead. You'd be like really dead.
Pink mist?
Yeah, just
black mist.
Carbon. It almost feels kind of wrong wearing my my new boots because they're so nice.
It's gonna help break them in a lot though.
Oh, they're getting so much softer. They feel so good. You know, actually, the heel's really good on this. That's one of my favorite things about it is it, like when I'm walking, my heel is just, I can feel it sliding without rubbing. This is the part that's breaking in, but it's getting really soft really quickly. But they look so nice, and I'm actually wearing them. It's gonna look like I work in them or something.
Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid. Tecovas. I have a strong opinion on boots. Comfort comes first. Tecovas is known for their broken-in leathers, so you don't have to worry about breaking in stiff or uncomfortable boots. The most distinct feature is the heel. I've never felt anything like it in a boot. There's something about the way they're made where I can feel my heel lift, but clear it at the same time without rubbing, which means that I'm going to be able to walk a long distance in these ranch boots. Click on the link in the description or scan the QR code to get your new favorite pair of boots today. I just got back from finishing up dragging the willows for Brandon, and looks like the rain has officially started. It's nice and light. I'm hoping that this continues for a while and picks up the pace, but I was getting worried about it missing us. I'm just thankful for what we're getting and hoping for more, always more. You think I'd be more focused on the rain instead of tornadoes, but that's life in the desert. It is 99% boring, and then the other 1% is completely nuts. I need this rain so badly. Although there are germinations and parts of the terrace are doing just fine, the germinations overall have been pretty disappointing. The vast majority of the trees and shrubs are either palo verde or rattlebush, even though I planted 42 different species. I did everything I could to trick them into germinating. I put the ones that require scarification in nearly boiling water. I soaked the seed mix for 24 hours. I added a little treated biochar to retain just a little bit more moisture near the seeds. There are signs of life. This little millipede is eating all of the mulch I've added in rows, and his waste is contributing to the beginning of nutrient cycling in the soil. But seeds somehow know when it rains. And if there's no rain, there's not going to be that many trees trying to grow. But overall, the lack of rain is slowing my progress, building this desert forest, and preventing the realization of my vision. But I hope this little bit of rain encourages just a little bit more germination and encourages a few more baby trees to pop up and give it their shot at life. I haven't seen too many piles of disturbed earth like that, where it's all pebbles where they're nesting.
Doesn't exactly stick out either. So you may have actually seen 100 and just not noticed one yet.
That's probably the more likely explanation, but still.
I bet they don't come out like that in a mat unless there's water coming down.
I'm sure. It was fun on the terrace. I was able to find bugs galore.
Oh yeah.
Even though I'm so bummed about feeling like the rain's past us, it says that our odds keep going up for the next 2 hours.
Excellent.
So far we're at 0.05 inches. My nostrils have never been so happy out here.
Breathing easy.
Very. This isn't exactly how I planned to spend the afternoon. I thought it'd be working. Instead, you know what? I wait all year for this.
Might as well look at it.
Yeah. Especially if the computer says there's rain coming. I use a weather station at camp to put numbers to my situation. I feel like measuring things makes them more tangible, and it probably helps justify my whining about the lack of rain. That weather station sits on a T-post, and I keep it near camp just because that's where I have Starlink, and I know I'm not going to lose any data. I've got 24/7 uptime, and it's close enough that I don't have to worry about the hub being out of range of Wi-Fi.
What a tease.
I don't know, man. I think that's coming right to us.
We have a really close horizon with that.
Yeah, we do.
Eyes right there, so that might be an optical illusion, but I don't know. It seems to be picking up.
I don't know. The distances out here always throw me off so bad. Like knowing that those 3 sets of mountains on the horizon, that's all Mexico. And it looks like you could just walk over there and it's no big deal. I can't tell if that's getting closer to us or not. And that cell is broken up already. It's not coming. What a tease. We did get a little bit of rain, but we are so far behind this year. It's not worst case scenario, but our rainfall totals for the year are in the bottom 10th percentile of the historical records. This year has been really dry. I'm in the eastern part of Hudspeth County, and our official drought category is extreme drought. At least I'm not in the exceptional category. This footage from 2 years ago will give you an idea of the contrast, because 2 years ago was a pretty wet year, and you can see the vegetation is really green. Compare that to today's vegetation, and you wouldn't even know that it's the same time of year. I'm not a weather expert, but this looks like it's over to me.
Seems like.
You want to go eat dinner?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm so disappointed. I mean, I'm not disappointed. Like, I'm glad that we got, it's been a really nice day and it was relaxing, but.
It'd be nice for it to be like a shower.
Yeah. Shouldn't say I'm disappointed. I got my hopes up.
I know.
I could smell and feel the water that was about to be, except it didn't come. Last year's emotional high came from putting in a lot of hard work and seeing 6 months of hard work pay off in just a few hours. It's been more than a year since the ranch has seen more than an inch of rain in a day. And that's the amount of rain that I need to see for all of my work to benefit the ranch and really push the desert forest forward. I was ready to see water flowing along the terraces, water building up behind the traditional dams. I wanted to see water building up behind the beaver dam analogs that we're building. I could already see an explosion of greenery that would follow in 4 or 6 weeks. Of course, that's not what happened. At least the desert's wet, and the plants that I do have got a day of rest from the sun. And although I didn't get the rain where I wanted it, in the quantity that I wanted, I did feel grateful that my neighbors got rain. There was rain to the north on the Eagle Mountains. There was rain to the east on the Quitman Mountains. There was rain to the south along the Rio Grande, falling across northern Mexico. But looking east, no rain. And that matches the drought map we saw earlier. It's been like this all summer. I do think it's interesting that these rain curtains I saw on the drone exactly match the drought map for the state of Texas. Using my ranch as the center, the state has been progressively wetter as you go to the west, and that is not at all what generally happens. El Paso and the Rio Grande Valley are typically very dry, but as you go up in elevation, it usually gets wetter. I don't know enough about weather or climate to understand what's happening, but for whatever reason, this little pocket in the most isolated spot in Texas is dry. Exceptionally dry. The sun came back out after all of this rain, and the colors in the desert are incredible. It's so pretty right now. I don't think that this is doing it justice at all, but this is such a great way to wrap up the day. It's just stunning out here. This has been one of my favorite evenings here ever. The weather is absolutely perfect. And guys, this scenery is just spectacular. I can't wrap up the episode with everything dark and moody when I got to enjoy just sitting here and enjoying everything. Check out this drone footage, check out these shots. I just want to share this with you. The colors right now and the temperature, the slightest breeze, it is so quiet. It's just awesome right now. I'm so happy. This is one of my best times out here. Dustups content doesn't have to end here. If you'd like to see more details on the desert forest in progress, head on over to the link in the description or scan the QR code. I made you guys a 30-minute episode that covers how plants are doing both on the terraces and in the dirt bathtubs. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in that bonus episode.